So our weather forecast showed that we had some freezing temperatures headed our way, and I still had some things in the garden I wanted to harvest before the freeze hit. Now in July, this is what one of my garden beds looked like, and I had some extra sweet potato slips, and I thought, well, I'll just throw them down there in that bed. If I get a few sweet potatoes, that would be great. It was already so late into the summer, I just did not know if I would get anything out of here. Now, I read online that if you leave sweet potatoes in the ground through a hard freeze, that they may not store well through the winter. I don't know. I've not tried that before, but I wanted to go ahead and harvest the sweet potatoes if I did have some in there. Now, these were some purple sweet potatoes that I grew slips from a potato that I picked up at the farmer's market back in January of this year. And as you can see here, the bed was just completely covered with sweet potato leaves. They were huge, too. I could not believe how big these sweet potato leaves were. Now, as I was pulling these up, I have also read that when the slip or the vine roots down, if you live somewhere warm, all of those little roots are going to make more sweet potatoes. Of course, I can't do that here because we get freezing temperatures. But if you live somewhere where maybe you don't get a frost or a freeze, try making yourself a sweet potato bed and let me know how it does, because that would be great to just have perpetual sweet potatoes growing all the time. So the first thing I had to do was cut off all that greenery, and there was a lot. And those sweet potatoes have been blooming since our cool temperatures set in. So for about 3 weeks now, I've noticed a lot of flowers. They were trying to go to seed. And so I saved some seed. I'm going to do an experiment on that later and see if I can grow some sweet potato slips from the seeds. Anyway, I ended up getting quite a bit of little sweet potatoes here. A lot of them were skinny, but I think this variety of purple potato grows long and skinny anyway. This is the first time I've grown purple sweet potatoes. So I'll cook some of these up and see what I can do with them. They're kind of all a little bit weird shaped, and some of these broke as I was trying to harvest them because they're so, I guess, skinny anyway. So there was my harvest of sweet potatoes. That was kind of just a freebie for me, a little bit unexpected. Now it's time to head up to the containers where I grow some citrus, and so I had some calamondins. I wanted to go ahead and get those, and I also had a few Meyer lemons. I really need to up-pot my Meyer lemon tree because it is very root bound and it needs some more soil in there, but that's another project for another day. And now up to my apple trees, and these here are yellow delicious apples. Even though they look like they might be rotten, I understand this is a common problem for home gardeners and even some farmers. It's something called blotch, and it will make the apple look unappetizing, but it really just affects the skin. The inside is fine, and so we've been getting apples now. This year I think I only got about 15 on this tree, but the first year we got about 6. The second year I did not get apples at all, which was very unusual, but we did get some this year. So now in the square foot garden I grabbed a few tomatoes, and then we have the zinnias. I wanted a few of these to take inside and enjoy their color while I still have some in the garden. And these are the big, what are called the doubles, so they're real pretty. A few more tomatoes. These will go into a nice salad because I have a lot of greens that I'm growing on my deck. I'm growing those in the GreenStalk vertical planters. So these will be the last of the tomatoes. And then I have some green tomatoes. So I love to make fried green tomatoes, or sometimes I'll put these in chow chow. And I don't know that I'll have time to make chow chow, but certainly I can put together a little bit of fried green tomatoes. Now out on the deck, I covered up everything. A lot of what I'm growing will survive freezing temperatures. However, there were a few things I wasn't real sure about. Now, spinach always does real well in my area. I don't have to cover it, even though I did put one cover on here. I'm just trying to make sure that spinach gets a good root system going on it. So it will survive my winter. It has to have a good root system. I was unsure about the lettuce, so that's why I put covers on a lot of these, because I have some of that French crisp lettuce, which I know does real well in the heat, but I just wasn't sure about freezing temperatures. And the nasturtiums, of course, they are very tender, so they would just die right over if I left them exposed to freezing temperatures. As a matter of fact, it did get down to 26 one night. So as of today, I removed all of my covers because it looks like we're going to have nice weather for at least another week. And so I'm going to let my plants get some fresh air and some sunshine. And I am going to start enjoying some beautiful salads. As you can see, a lot of things did real well. The nasturtiums survived great, as well as the French crisp lettuce. So loving that. And I don't know where all these yellow jackets are coming from. We have yellow jackets everywhere. The spinach is doing great. So the first thing I did was collect some greens and some parsley, some nasturtiums for a salad. I love arugula and fresh lettuce in my salad. And then I also wanted to show you guys how the square foot garden looked after the freeze. So here we have carrots looking great. No problem with those surviving the cold. The peas did get a little bit of damage there, so I'm hoping those will spring back because I might have enough time to get some peas this fall. And of course the tomato plant, this is where the green tomatoes were. It died right over. And let's see over here, the zinnias are just, they're very tender when it comes to the freezing temperatures. Those will just die right over. And these peas here look like they've got a little bit of damage because it really did get cold. The broccoli is looking great, as well as the cabbage. So hopefully, I'm crossing fingers that these peas will snap back for me. So there you go. Thanks so much for watching, and y'all have a beautiful day.